Hello crafters, in tonight's video we're going to be making a rotating pop-up card using the Sweets Bugs photopolymer stamp set and dies. And for the front of the card we're going to be making our own background paper. We're going to use the Gathering Leaves embossing folder and the Mossy Meadow cardstock. And for the inside of the card we'll use the Cute as a Bug Designer Series paper. I want to apologize for getting this card out to you so late. When I went to go editing, yes, I do some editing, my computer didn't work. And so I had to take it to the shop and I just got it back. Now let's go ahead and turn the camera down and we'll get started on this card. Here's that Sweet Bug rotating pop-up card we're going to be making tonight. As you can see, we've got the bug on the front, but when you open it up, it pops up. We've got a bumblebee up there watering the flowers. I really like how that works. For this, we use the Sweet Bugs photopolymer stamp set, and the stamps we used were the hello and this right here. And then for the dies, we used the Sweet Bugs dies, and we used this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. I think that's all that we had. Yep, okay. And then for the stylish shapes, we used this large one, the second largest circle, the third largest circle, and then fourth largest circle. So those stacking circles. And then we used our textured notes. We used this. And then for the Cute as a Bug Designer Series paper, let me show you that. We have this one. They're all double-sided. And we're going to cut some of these out of here, the bugs. And then we're going to use this for our background paper on the inside of the card. And then we'll use this to cut this piece out right here. All right, let's get started. We're going to use our cut and emboss machine first tonight, and we're going to use the 3D embossing folder sandwich right here. So that's the number 1 plate and the number 4 plate. This right here. And we're going to put inside our Gathering Leaves embossing folder our paper. We got a piece of paper cut at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and we're going to put it in here, and we'll use this folding edge first. And I don't think I've got it in there quite right. I think it's tilted. I want it to be level. I think that's better that way. And then we're just going to crank this out. Then we're going to use our smaller cut and emboss machine for the rest of the things. In fact, we'll get some of those ready right now as long as we're talking about cut and emboss. So here's our smaller one. And for this, we're going to use this sandwich right here. The number 1 plate right here and 2 number 2 plates with the sandwich in between. So here's a number 2 plate. This has the etching on it, and here's the second number 2 plate. And we're going to go ahead and cut some things out here. I'm going to take this first, and we're just going to die cut it first. What I want to do is put this around the hello but you can see it's way too large. So I'm going to die cut it first just to get it started. Let me take a piece of our Post-it label covering up tape. This sticks securely, removes cleanly, and you can use it over and over. So I'm going to just line that up. What I have here is a 1-inch piece of cardstock, and we're going to take this and remove the paper. Then I want to take it and stamp my hello on there, and we're going to use our Memento Tuxedo Black. And let's see, where is it? Right here's the hello, and we're going to tape that off. I taped it off earlier today, and hopefully I can use the same tape. We're taping off the front portion of the stamp, leaving only the hello exposed to the ink. And then we're just going to take this off from here. And I'm just throwing that away now. Then we want to stamp it in here. Let me move this. I'm going to cover it up because I just don't want to get my elbow in there. We're going to need it yet. Excuse my head. There. We're going to take this and die cut that again. So we're going to do it like this. Get it real close. And then I'm going to put the tape back on there. Don't want it to shift on us. And we'll get our plate right here. There. See how nice that looks? Just going to set it here for now. Then we have this. I think we can use this part of it to stamp our flower. We are done with this. So I'm going to put that over there. And I just want to get the tape off from there. The adhesive from the tape was stuck on there. And I'm just going to stamp that in there. We'll use our Tuxedo Black again. And then one more. I think we're done with the ink though. We have our die cut. Oh, I think we forgot one thing. Here it is. So we're going to bring this back here. Let's clean these off right now. We're going to use our Stampin' Scrub, and we're going to put some Stampin' Mist inside of here. Clean this. Which side do I spray? It would be this side because there is a watermark there. So this is the wet side, and there's a sunbeam here. This is the dry side. I don't want anything else to get wet, so I was just kind of protecting that. And I'm just going to stamp off on some paper off camera. Okay, let's bring in our cut and emboss machine again. We're going to use that same sandwich. We'll bring this in, and we're going to bring in this flower here. And then we'll bring this up here. And let's bring in to cut that. And I'm going to use our tape again. And that looks good right like that. Let me get it down here so I can get it lined up. Sorry about my head. So I've got it lined up. I'm going to tape it down. Then we'll bring this in here. We can cut that at the same time. Notice I'm putting this up here rather than side by side so that the rollers will cut this, and then it'll cut this. And then it'll be able to adjust each die cut separately. And you'll get a nicer cut that way. So we got this heart and this flower, and we got to do some coloring on this. And we've got some bugs we need to cut out yet. So let's go ahead and get our bugs up here. Our bugs are on this paper here. we want to cut the bug. This is the bumblebee right here. We'll cut that out. Let me get my snips. Those will work better than the adhesive ones. I'm just doing a rough cut here so I can get both of these out of here. And then we have to do our beetle that's reading a book. And we've got one. Here's one right up here. That's more on the edge, so we'll cut this one out next. Okay, we'll bring these in here. This one's going to do the bumblebee. And so I'm going to just line that up. Sorry about my head again. Making sure that it's lined up. And when I see that it's lined up properly everywhere, I'm going to tape it down. And we'll do another one. This one right here. Sorry about my head again. Okay. And where's that other plate? And we'll cut this out. Take the tape off because we're going to want to use it on our next thing that we're going to be cutting out. There's our bug. There's our bug. Then we're going to take that and we're going to cut out this piece here. That's the watering can. Sorry about my head. We'll bring that up here. And that's going to be our stem for our flower. Okay, here we go. Then we've got our circles we got to cut out. And we're going to use this piece of Daffodil Delight. And it's 3 inches by 5.5 inches or 7.6 centimeters by 14 centimeters. We need to cut this out here. And we want to have this circle and then this one cut out of the middle of it. Not that one, this one. Let's see if we can't get this tape. There, that looks about centered. Then we're going to take this just to cut that last circle out. So this is for the rotating mechanism. And this we won't need. And we're going to take this same circle that we had just cut out the middle part, that right there, and we're going to use it with a window sheet. So I've got a piece of a window sheet here. I don't know if I got it cut small enough. And I want it to cut right here. It's starting right here, so I've got it in there without worrying about it not being centered or anything. And then I'm just going to run it through a couple different times because the plastic is hard to get it to cut. So I'm going back and forth, and back and forth. And I'll still probably have to use my scissors to finish cutting it. So it's pierced in some places, but not everywhere. So I'm going to take my scissors and just guide it along. So it's here. And I can cut that right there. There's definitely a heavy score line there. I'm just kind of laying it on the score line. and letting it cut through. I could probably put a shim in underneath that big scoring pad, and that might have been enough to make it cut through the rest of the card, but I'm okay with just trimming it like this. Okay. See? I don't know if you can see that. And that's part of the mechanism again. We should be done with this now. And let's get the rest of this out of here. I'll have the dimensions for the paper for all these die cuts so that you'll know what to use. Okay, so I have some other things that I've die cut to go along with this. So we've got 2 flower heads, and we got 2 stems here, and then we got 4 of these flowers here. And as you can see, I need to color that yet. So let me bring in my markers. We'll use a light mossy meadow, and I'm just going to go on this side of the line here, just to give it some color there. And then we'll fill in this leaf here with the mossy meadow, and then go on the line there. Then for the dark Daffodil Delight, that'll be the petals here. So we've got that all done. So I think we can start assembling our card. Let's go ahead and bring in our card base. We've got a piece of basic black cut at 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and we got it scored at 4 1/4. So I'm just going to fold and burnish that. I like to burnish it on both sides to give it a nice crisp edge, and we really want that with this card because the inside is so big. We want to make sure that it's going to lay down flat. And since this has been embossed, I want to use tear and tape so that I can get good contact. We're going to use tear and tape, and I do it around all 4 sides. I'm going to use these scissors because these are my adhesive scissors. That way I can use these on paper that I don't have to worry about having the adhesive on it. And I'm going to do one in the middle too, because we have all of that here on the middle of the card. It'd be nice to make sure that this is stuck down. I'm going to just burnish it with my fingers. Normally I use liquid glue for my papers because there's so much wiggle room in there, but with this a moving mechanism, I want to make sure that we've got a good stick. So I'm using the tear and tape for the mechanism and other components of the card as well. Now we want to make sure we've got this down at 1/16 of an inch for a border on all 4 sides. So we just want to set it down and make sure it's centered. And I'm going to burnish it with my fingers at the top, but then we can open it up and just burnish it inside here. Make sure we got a good stick there. Okay, then let's take our paper and we'll put that on the inside of the card. And this I can just use glue for. And we're going to be using this glue right here. That's a Tombow liquid glue, and we've got that in our catalog. But I also have it in this Sweet Petunia gun, and I use this gun because it's a lot easier to squeeze than this bottle is. I have arthritis, and I can't squeeze this bottle. And as you can see, it comes out in a very fine stream. there's this nice holder for it. We've got this rubber stopper here, and when you push this in here, you see that it pinches that off. And then at the end of the day, you want to use this to put down into the barrel. Make sure that pin goes down into the barrel, and then you screw it on. Okay, so let's put this on the inside of the card, and let's see. We want to have 1/8 of an inch for a border on all 4 sides. And I'll do this one too. I should use my rubber mat. I've got a silicone mat. Let me get that out so that we don't get glue all over our work surface here. There we go. And I'm going to make sure this is lined up right here. Those lined up there. And down here as well. Okay, and we can just do our foam folder, make sure all the glue bubbles are out. And then for the front of the card, we need to get our black piece here. This is basic black, cut at 3 1/8 inches by 4 1/8 inches, or 7.9 centimeters by 10.5 centimeters. And then we're going to take this piece here, and we're going to cut this piece out. So let me get my trimmer. So here's our trimmer. We've got a scoring blade on there, and we've got a trimming blade. And it has an arm on here, so you can take it out as far as 17 1/4 inches, or 43.8 centimeters, or almost 44 centimeters there. What we're going to do first is we're just going to cut this in half. And that's going to be at 6 inches, or 16.3 centimeters. Then we want to cut this down here. Let me try this. We'll cut this side first. Do the same thing, another 4 inches. And then this is 3 inches, giving us a piece that's 3 inches, or 7.6 centimeters, and 4 inches, which was 10.2 centimeters. And we're just going to put some glue on the back of this. And we want to leave 1/16 of an inch for a border on all 4 sides. 1/16 of an inch is about 0.1 centimeter. Then we can put some dimensionals on the back of this. Actually, let's go ahead and put these flowers on here before we go any farther. So those need to be glued on. And our beetle needs to be glued on, so let's get these on here. Should have flipped them over, shouldn't I? And we're going to go right about there. It's got a little wiggle room here. Then let's take our beetle and put that up here. I'll put it right about here, just at the top of the mushroom. Then we're going to put the dimensionals on the back of this. I think I got some black ones here that'll work better. I'm just going to use 5 today. That should hold it as it goes through the rollers at the post office. I should probably use my take your pick tool because my fingernails are not very long. Then let's center this. We'll come back and we'll put the beetle on here and the sentiment on here a little bit later, because now we're going to do the inside of the card. And we're going to take this piece here. It's a 3" by 3.5 inch, and we need to score it. The 3 inches is 7.6 centimeters. 3.5 inches is 8.9. We're going to score it on 1 inch on each side, and that's going to be 2.5 centimeters. I'm going to make sure that's a good score line there. Okay, then we want to score it at 1/2 inch on the short edge, or on the long edge. So we'll go 1/2 inch here. And then by 1 inch. And then 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to flip it over this way and go to the 1.5 inch over here. And then the 3 inch. Okay. We're not done with the scoring tool yet. So we want to fold these down, and we'll burnish those with our fingers. And then fold them over the other way, because we want to make sure that the rotating mechanism will work through all these folds. The more you've got it worked up, the easier the mechanism will work. Okay, so now that we've got that, we need to take it and cut a lot of these pieces out. So we're going to take out this corner here and this corner here, and we're going to take out it at the fold line. I'm going to take my scissors here, or my trimmers rather than the scissors. Then we need to take this center fold out there, this one here and this one here. We'll fold this in and cut it off from here. Do the same thing on this side. Then we'll take this one right here, and right there, and we'll trim this in half. Then we'll trim this in half here. And the reason I did it that way is because I'm going to need this longer piece with that folded piece on there. Then we can trim this off. Let's get rid of all this waste. Now we've got this, we want to score it at the diagonals. This line here and this line here, and score it at the diagonals. So we'll bring it in our trimmers. And I'm going to fold that in, because I'm just going to want to have those points. This point right here, and this point right here. I want to make sure that they're still there. Yep, they're still there. And then we're going to take our scoring tool, and we do the other diagonal. All right. then we need to fold those right there. I think we're done with this now. Let me take that out of here. Make sure we don't have anything stuck underneath. And we'll use our bone folder right here to get that fold. And then let's use the other diagonal. Bone folder. And then how this works is you pinch that in this way. We need to pull these in and tape them down. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to use our tear and tape again. I'm going to move this because we won't use that very often. And tear and tape on this one. Just burnishing with my finger. And then we're just going to take the tape off from here and fold them over. And they don't have to match, doesn't have to line up. That's just giving us some extra weight there to keep this stable. Now if we fold this in again, this is what it looks like. So let's flip it over and make sure that these aren't going to overlap. So these are our wings here. And we don't want those to overlap here. So they're fine. And so we're going to put some tape on these. And I just want to get this out here. This is my template here. So we're going to bring this in. So this needs to be taped and this needs to be taped. I'm going to do that right up there. Okay, and we'll do that. And I can take this off. And I'm going to take this and tape the next one right closer to that line there. And we need to tape this one down here. And I'm taping it close to the line. And then I'll go back and tape it next to that line as well. I'm scooching down here. Hope you were able to see most of that. All right, let's just reassemble this again. So this is the back, this is the front. Okay, so we're going to take this and we want to put it about in the center of our card. And we want this lined up on the fold line there. And we've got has that tape on it, and we're going to line this up here. Just burnishing that, and then when you open the card, it's going to pull these wings out. Okay, so then this is all set up, so we want to bring this in here. And then let's bring this back here. Now, what we want to do is we want to tape this circle down onto this piece right here. And I'm going to use the tear and tape again for that. And I'm just going to put a little bit down. And now we'll find the right place for that circle. And let's see if we can get it back in. So we don't want it hanging out here. and it's not getting crunched in there. So that works. So then we need to do this circle. By doing this card, I found out that I don't need to have this as long because it'll just show. So I'm going to just cut that down right here. So that's about what I cut off, about 1/4 of an inch, a little more than 1/4 of an inch. Then we're going to put some tear and tape on there. So there's the tear and tape. And I'm going to take that off. Then we can take this and line that up there. And we want to get it closer to here. So when it's in here, so that it's almost touching this fold line. So I don't know if you can see it, but I want it so that it's almost touching this fold line. But then when you open it up, it comes out here. So the next piece that we need to do is this thing right here. This is another mechanism to pop up this piece that goes up on the top here. We're going to just fold this in half. Then we can cut this piece off where this fold was here. And then we need to make sure that this is not any wider than this is here. So we're going to need to trim this down. Because it's going to go right there. Then we're going to put another piece of tear and tape in there. We'll take that off. I'm just going to fold this back here. So I don't want it to be on this triangle. So I only want it, the tear and tape, on this small triangle right here. And we'll leave this triangle clear. Then we're going to take this edge here and bring it right there. Okay, that still works. It helps to season the card by repeating this motion. It's like you're training it. It gets that memory. Then we want to glue this down. When it's open, we want it to be centered. And I see I've got a card coming out from behind here. I'm just going to trim this a little bit off here, so we don't need that. There. So we need to put another piece of tear and tape on that. And you're wondering why I'm not tearing this. It's because I have arthritis and I don't have the strength in my knuckles to try and tear it. So that's why I use the scissors. And let's tear that paper backing off. Then we will center that. Still not sticking out, which is good. Now we need to decorate this. And let's finish that with these here. I want it to look like that. We're going to take these and we're going to glue them onto here. We'll line that one up there. We'll line this one up on this one. And then I'm going to take these sleeves here and I'm going to cut it off right there. The reason I did that is because the flower is too small. It would stick out the bottom. So we will glue these down right this. And then we're going to glue these back on. So let's go ahead and glue this one down first. Then we've got this. We'll trim this off here. And we can glue this leaf back down. And we'll just glue it up higher on the stem. And we'll do this one down. This glue gun allows me to get this fine stuff done. Okay, and then we'll glue this down on the stem. Then we have our bumblebee. So we're going to glue this right about here. But we won't use glue. We're going to use the tear and tape on that because the glue would take forever to dry on the window sheet. So if we use tear and tape, it'll be an instant stick. So let's see, turn it this way, I think I can get to it better. We want it to be pouring right about there. We should be able to get their bees on there next. We'll do tear and tape with this too. And we just want the bee to just grab that jug. And I think I have too much tear and tape on there. So I'm going to take our powder here and take the stickiness off that tear and tape. Otherwise the mechanism is going to hang on to the card. I think we've got it. We still need to do our gems on the front though, and our hello. The hello will glue down, so let's get our glue here. All right, and then we need our butterfly. I'll put that right up here. Well, let's see. It's a butterfly. It doesn't have to be landed. We can maybe have them hovering a little bit. But the beetle we want to have crawling on the flower. There. So we used the Ladybug Garden epoxy shapes. That's with these here. And then we use our butterflies, our brushed brass butterflies. There we go. It looks cute, if I can say so myself. I hope you like this project as much as I did. Don't you think those bugs are really cute? Why don't you give it a try? Now, if you've enjoyed today's video, would you do me two favors? Click the thumbs up emoji, which means you like it. And would you share it on social media with your crafting friends and pin it to Pinterest? These actions will help me to keep sharing my ideas with other crafters for free, and I'd really appreciate that. Be sure to hit the subscribe button below so you won't miss any future videos. If you have any questions, be sure to contact me. I'm here to help in any way that I can. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Just reach out to me. If you'd like to place a Stampin' Up! Order or would like a catalog, hop over to my website where you'll find the Shop Now button. To shop with me, you need to go to joanheberlein.stampinup.net. Mark your calendars. I'll be back next Sunday, February 1st at 7 p.m. Central Time, and we'll be doing something from the annual catalog, and I hope you'll be here to join me. Thanks so much for being here with me tonight. I look forward to next time. Bye for now, and don't forget to subscribe.